Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 5. Can you believe it's week 5 of Discovering Spring already? It is a beautiful day. We are now in May, and everything is coming to life, Miss Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be out here today.
I know. We'll see it on our walk, too. We'll be observational and see if we can spot any differences.
So today, you guys, this is our day where you guys can do anything you want on your walk. And where are we going, Miss Kristen?
Today, you guys, we're going to the bridge.
The bridge. I love going to the bridge. I'm so excited to go there. We're going to play a little game on the bridge. We're going to teach your parents how they can play that game with you. And we're also going to talk about things that we discussed in the first 4 weeks of class. So what do you say, Miss Kristen? Should we read our story?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Sounds good. Alrighty, so our story today is the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. So we'll see what this one is all about. The 3 Billy Goats Gruff. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats. They lived in a valley, and the name of all 3 billy goats was Gruff. There was very little grass in the valley, and the billy goats were hungry. They wanted to go up the hillside to find a meadow full of grass and daisies, where they could eat and eat and eat and get fat. All right. But on the way up, there was a bridge over a rushing river, and under the bridge lived a troll who was as mean as he was ugly. Uh-oh, does anybody see him? He's kind of blending in, but I think there's the scary troll.
He's mean looking.
He is pretty mean looking. First, the youngest billy goat Gruff decided to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. He looks pretty scared, doesn't he? "Oh, it's only I, the tiniest billy goat Gruff," said the billy goat in his very small voice. "And I'm going to the meadow to make myself fat." So he's the youngest billy goat, and he looks a little nervous, as I would be too. "No, you're not," said the troll, "for I'm coming to gobble you up." "Oh, please don't take me. I'm too little, that I am," said the billy goat. "Wait till the second billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger." "Well then, be off with you," said the troll. Aww. So he's saying, "Please don't eat me. My brother's bigger. He's coming next." Boy. A little later, the second billy goat Gruff came to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "Oh, it's only I, the second billy goat Gruff, and I'm going up to the meadow to make myself fat," said the billy goat, and his voice was not so small. "No, you're not," said the troll, "for I'm coming to gobble you up." "Oh, please don't take me. Wait a little till the third billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger." "Very well, be off with you," said the troll. So now he's also saying, "Wait for my brother, he's bigger." Then up came the third billy goat Gruff. Trip, trap, went the bridge. The third billy goat Gruff was so heavy that the bridge creaked and groaned under him. Well, he already looks bigger, even just from his face. "Who's that tramping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "It is I, the big billy goat Gruff," said the billy goat, and his voice was as loud as the troll's. Uh-oh, let's see if they have a little standoff here. "Now I'm coming to gobble you up," roared the troll. "Well, come along," said the big billy goat Gruff. "I've got 2 horns and 4 hard hooves. see what you can do. Oh boy. The big billy goat seems pretty confident. So up climbed that mean, ugly troll, and the big billy goat Gruff butted him with his horns, and he trampled him with his hard hooves. Oh wow, he was not scared, huh? And he tossed him over the bridge into the rushing river. Oh, see, there's the troll falling down into the river. Then the big billy goat Gruff went up the hillside to join his brothers. See, there's the brothers up here in the corner. They're already in the meadow grazing. In the meadow, the 3 billy goats Gruff got so fat that they could hardly walk home again. They are probably there yet. So snip, snap, snout, the tales told out. So it's a happy ending for these 3 goats, right? That got over the bridge and past the troll.
Okay, now I want you guys to remember that story. We don't want to spoil the surprise at the bridge, but you should, and parents too, you need to remember the story and how that goes.
Absolutely. Alrighty, you guys, so today's class is a little bit different in that we're actually starting with the craft because we kind of need the craft as a prop for our walk, okay? So we're making these cool little gloves, and we have 4 little circles here, and I don't know if you can quite tell, but 3 of them are goats and 1 of them is a troll, just like in the story, okay? And it's Velcro, so these can pop off as well. So we're gonna go ahead and be creative with this. So we're gonna make 3 goats, and you know, it can be a little tricky to draw a goat, so just do the best you can, but we know that goats typically are kind of brown, black, gray, so we can, you know, we can start with doing those colors and stuff.
And we're using markers, Miss Kristen.
Yep.
Parents might choose crayons or even colored pencils.
Yep.
And the circles that we're cutting out for you are pretty small, so it's going to be a little tricky. And parents may want to help with some of these a little bit. But like Miss Kristen said, use your imagination.
Yep.
And then also, like Miss Kristen said, you're going to want to have this craft ready before you do this class with your children. Okay, so make sure that this craft has already been completed. And then we're going to give you a little baggie, and we would suggest you bring your craft along to our walk to the bridge in that baggie so you don't lose any of your goats or the troll.
Yeah. So here's my first goat.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's not bad. So I drew actually some horns on that one. So let's see, I'll do this one, maybe a brown. And it's going to be fun because we're actually going to be taking this craft on our walk, so. All right. Some black eyes on this one. This one is a smiling goat. All right. I'm gonna try to make this one a little bit bigger, like the 3rd one was. So this one's gonna be the older brother. And if you guys remember, the last billy goat had he had some big horns, right? That he kind of pushed the troll off with.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this guy some big horns. Ah! Mr. Tom, would you like
lose something?
Yeah.
Oh. We lost everything. Yeah, it's always windy when we do crafts. It's just a funny. So, Miss Erin, maybe you can get a good shot of these examples. Although Miss Kristen's is by far the best.
All right, so here are my 3 goats. And now I'm gonna
Nice.
have some fun drawing a troll. So I guess this can really kind of be any color we want. I know in the story the troll had some crazy, almost rainbowy type of hair. So definitely gonna let my imagination go on this one.
Do you guys think we have trolls at the Discovery Zone? What do you think?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we're going to a bridge, right?
I guess that would
Where
be
was
this.
our troll in the story?
Yeah, he was under the bridge, right? So I
Yeah.
guess that's probably a good place to check.
Now, some of you that have been to camp know that we do have trolls here. They don't come out that often. Generally, summertime. Just in time for camp. But when you come here, definitely check under the bridge.
Okay, so my troll looks pretty scary. As he
my,
should.
yikes.
Alrighty, so there is my troll. Okay, so just like in the story, we have our 3 goats and our 1 troll. So you guys are gonna try your hand at making that as well, and then we can.
They're little puppets.
Yep, and like I said, so some of they're Velcro, so some of them come off, and pretty cool, right? All right, so we're gonna take our craft with us, and we're gonna head out to the bridge and see what we can find.
All right, you guys, so we are excited to get going, but like we have done for each of our classes, we're gonna get our hands all nice and washed off. And you'll remember we talked about a lot of the animals who breathe through their skin. We're gonna review all of that on our walk, but we just wanna make sure that your hands are nice and washed off of any kind of chemicals that could make some of our animals sick.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna find.
All right, so here we go. It's a beautiful day in early May. However, we have some major puddles here from some of our rain. So maybe we'll come around this way. But once you get into the park, even after some rain, it usually dries up pretty quickly once we get into May, which we're in now. So I don't think you're gonna generally need to wear boots. But today it wouldn't have been a bad idea, especially if your kids like puddles. But we had a lot of rain this spring and last spring. I don't know if parents remember that, but we had a lot of rain.
And now we have a sunny day, and we know that our plants and flowers love the combination of rain and then sun.
And that's what we're talking about next week, Miss Kristen.
Yeah?
Yeah, we think we'll see a lot more of our plants and flowers starting to pop up. Probably, it's a little late this year, but probably by next week we'll see some of our cool plants, and we will point that out to you. And speaking of plants and things we want to avoid, what plant are we going to be looking out for today, Miss Kristen, that we want to stay away from?
Yeah, so of course, just like every time, we want to stay away from poison ivy, right? And remember, the rule is leaves of 3, let it be, okay? So now that it has gotten a little bit warmer, the poison ivy is starting to grow a bit more, so we really do want to be careful with staying on the trail, okay?
Okay, well, I see our rock is under a lot of water. I'm going to sort of tiptoe rock, right? That's not an egg, is it?
No, I remember, what was it, week 1 or week 2?
Week 1.
Yeah, week 1, we learned that that is not an egg, and that's our quartz boulder.
That's not an egg. Why is that not an egg? Do you guys remember? We discussed this. What does an egg need to do?
Well, of course, an egg is holding something really special inside, right? It's holding a baby animal, and so it needs to be soft enough that the baby animal can get out of that egg. And so when you guys come and feel this quartz boulder, you'll feel that it's really hard. You'll feel that, well, you'll also see that it's quite large, and I don't think we have any animals here at the Discovery Zone that, you know, hatch eggs quite that large.
All right, but Miss Kristen, we definitely talked about different animals
Yeah?
that do lay eggs here. Do you guys remember some of those? Let's think about that for a second. Who lays eggs? I can hear.
Yeah. We can hear lots of little birds, right? And birds definitely lay eggs. Lots of times in the trees they do. Yeah, I hear lots of them.
Yeah, there's definitely birdies lay eggs. Little birds are what we're hearing right now, but what about big birds, Miss Kristen? We talked about some big birds that like to, they actually eat other birds.
Oh, like, are you talking about hawks?
Talking about hawks and what comes out at night that goes whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah. We talked about the owls, right? And how interesting it was that owls lay eggs, but they actually steal other birds' nests and use their nests for them to lay their eggs, which is really interesting.
Yeah, so owls and hawks lay eggs. Do we find our eggs on the ground when we're walking through here, Miss Kristen?
You know, I certainly haven't seen any eggs on the ground here, so we know. And we also talked a lot about nests and looking up and trying to find some nests. And so you definitely think that birds lay their eggs in their nests up in the trees. And that's, you know, they want to keep it probably away from the humans and away from all the animals. They'd have so many more predators if they laid their eggs here on the ground.
Yeah, that wouldn't be safe.
No, definitely not.
All right, so parents, we're just going to go straight down Froggy Freeway in this classroom. We're going to go straight to the bridge. That's straight down Froggy Freeway. You won't miss it. Now, Miss Kristen, we're passing Classroom Court where our vernal pool is, and that makes me think of some other animals that may lay eggs.
Absolutely, and you know, we definitely saw this last week, right? So we have quite a few different types of animals that lay eggs in the vernal pool. So one definitely being frogs, right? We've seen some frog eggs in there, actually lots of frog eggs, which, do we remember what frog eggs actually hatch? Not frogs right away, right? They hatch tadpoles first. So tadpoles.
And parents, just let me interrupt Miss Kristen and say, we will, in this class, on our way back, we'll take a peek at the vernal pool. You should too, just to see how everything's doing in there.
Yeah. I think Mr. Tom last week also showed maybe some salamander eggs.
Salamanders, yeah. There's another animal that lives in and uses the vernal pool that we haven't seen yet, and we generally won't see them around the vernal pool till summer. They come out and they sun themselves, and they have a big hard shell.
Oh, yeah.
And they live a long, long time.
And they're very slow, right?
And they move very slow.
Definitely turtles. I know I've seen over the summer a fair share of turtles at the vernal pool, so that'd be really cool for you guys to come check that out in the summer.
So I have a question. We can hear our birds right now. And we know that we read Scaredy Squirrel, and we know there's got to be squirrels here, but we're not seeing any right now, are we? Do you see any squirrels? Think about what we talked about with Scaredy Squirrel. What happens when they hear humans?
Oh, yeah. They run away, right? They're afraid of us.
They hide, yeah. They hide. So we're going to talk about some of that too. So we're talking about what squirrels do to hide from humans because they're scared of them. But who else gets scared of humans out here? Probably a lot of animals,
Yeah,
right?
I think definitely a lot of animals. Also, last week we talked about how, how to sneak up on a frog. Frogs are scared of us. Squirrels are scared of us. Even, the salamanders, when we roll over logs, you see kind of all the little insects or salamanders, everything kind of scurries, right? That they're scared of us.
All right, so now guys, again, this is your class to do anything you want, but we like to roll some logs. So we're back in our little log rolling area. We'll do some more up ahead.
Mr. Tom, why don't you refresh our memories on how to roll the logs?
Right, and make sure you guys always roll the logs towards you.
Yep.
So that just in case there's a snake or something else, you want to have that log in front of you and the snake on the other side of the log, so it's safer for you and safer for them. I have to say the ground is still very, very cold this morning. We've been in a really, April, as parents know, it's been very, very cold. So we haven't seen as much under our logs as we normally do, especially in terms of worms. We have not had
Here's a little wormy.
Oh, good. Do you guys remember we talked about worms last week?
Yep, that's a small worm. Woo!
What are those wormies doing under there?
There you go. And you can tell which way his head is, remember, by which way goes under the ground first. I'll let him be there.
Now, we talked about washing our hands in animals who have a different way of breathing. What about worms, Miss Kristen?
Oh, yeah, right? That was so interesting that we talked about that worms, they don't really have mouths, right? So they can't breathe through their mouths and their noses like us humans do. So they have a really cool ability to breathe through their skin, which is so interesting, which is also one of the reasons why they always, kind of stay, here's one. They always look like they're shining a little bit, like they're always wet. They like to stay moist. So this one we can tell his head is this way, right? That's the way that he is moving.
And Miss Kristen talked about this last week. Do we want to be, when we see a worm, do we want to cut them in half and see if they can live?
Definitely not.
No. Some worms can regrow depending on where they're cut, but we don't want to test that out.
Yep.
Okay.
Like even if we love these worms, we don't want to take them away from their homes. We want to put them back with their families and friends.
So we didn't find a whole lot here, Miss Kristen. Why don't we keep going? But do you guys remember why worms are so important since we're talking about worms? What do we see everywhere now that's starting to come out? When we started these classes, everything was brown. What color are we starting to see?
Yeah, we're starting to see so much green.
Lots of green, right?
Yeah, I think that's so fun on each week to really kind of compare how different things look, how much greener it is, how much more you can hear and see. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, so by the time you get our first video next week, if you come out, there's still a lot of leaves yet to grow on our tree. So our trees up above, I don't see a lot of leaves yet. So you're still gonna see a lot of change from early May, especially into late May. It's gonna be a great time to be out here. But so
Now, guys, this is a really exciting point because we have not yet crossed this point in our Webb Mountain Discovering Spring classes. So if we remember, the vernal pools are down that way, the big vernal pool's down this way, and we haven't gone straight yet, and that's where the bridge is. So this is an exciting transitional point for us, you guys.
This is a big walk for you guys, and I want you to remember the point where Miss Kristen mentioned, because here, even though one of our rules, as you know, is not to run, some of the areas like we just walked, there's not a lot of roots. Right now we're gonna find a lot of roots when we walk, okay? So I'm not even gonna walk backwards now.
Yep.
We're gonna pick up our feet and make sure we don't fall down out here, because now it gets a little trickier to walk, especially right here. But so with our wormies, remember what they do, you guys? They like to dig a lot of tunnels
Yeah.
and holes.
Remember why that's important. You know, we've learned about worm tunnels, and it's so important because it loosens the soil so that the trees and the flowers and the bushes, they can all grow. And
Yeah.
also they help provide soil, right? We talked about when worms poop, it's actually turned into fertilized soil, which is also great for growing.
Yeah, they eat all of that soil and they combine it with a lot of the organic material, a lot of good things that they can eat. Even in these old dying leaves, they will get a lot of nutrients in them. They'll kind of churn it all up in their bellies and they'll poop it back out into some really good fertilizer. So without wormies, you guys, we wouldn't have all of these trees and plants.
That's
And Miss
true.
Kristen, what do we need our trees for? Why is that so important to us?
Oh, of course, it's so important to us because what do we need to breathe? We need oxygen, right? And so the trees actually provide that for us. So, you know, it's so important that all these different parts of nature work together to provide, you know, a life, really, for everything.
All right, so we're almost at the
Yeah, we're
bridge.
getting pretty close to the bridge, you guys.
I can see it.
I'm a little nervous.
Well, you should be. You've got a lot to do on the bridge.
I know.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun on the bridge, you guys. And if you remember our story, that's what we're going to do. But we'll talk about that more in a second. So our wormies, what are they insects, Miss Kristen?
Well, I don't think so, right? Because we talked about insects need a certain amount of legs. Does anybody remember how many legs something needs to have to be considered an insect?
Well, I remember that Bob and Otto turned into an insect
Yeah.
as a butterfly, right?
Do you know how many legs a butterfly has, Mr. Tom?
6.
6, right? So insects need 6 legs, right? So worms don't have any legs, so they're certainly not considered an insect.
Wow, Miss Kristen, we've only covered just a little bit of what we talked about over the first 4 weeks, and we're already at the bridge. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's so much stuff that you can talk about with your kids on the way to the bridge, but just let them enjoy the walk because we want to make the outdoors fun for them. And so if they see something that maybe you can incorporate from our lessons, that's great. If not, just enjoy the walk. All right, so we're gonna, oh, so here I see a nice big wormy.
Oh,
Couple of them. So we had to go out a little further to find some big fat worms, you guys.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you are right, Mr. Tom.
Did you see more?
Yep.
Yeah, so these guys use their bristles. They're very, very hard to see with just our eyes. We probably need a microscope. But they use bristles to move around. Anything cool over there?
Get this big one.
And this is where I was talking about. We also talked about.
You can definitely see the bristles a little bit more in this one. So we know which way
centipedes
his
and
head is
millipedes,
here,
and
right?
We'll see more of that over here. We'll see some big, giant millipedes here. Not yet, though.
All right, so you guys, we remember from the story that the bridge is where the troll was hiding, right? And the 3 little billy goats had to try, well, 2 little billy goats and 1 big goat had to cross the bridge, right? Despite the fact that there was a big, scary, ugly troll there. So now we have this really fun game that when you come, maybe you can play with your brothers and sisters or even just you and a parent, where we're gonna have a troll on the bridge.
That's me.
And each of the billy goats is going to try to cross the bridge despite this scary troll that's there, okay? And so I'm gonna do it 3 different times for the 3 different for the 3 different goats. I have 3 of them right here. So yeah, we're gonna
Now we
approach
will
the
say
bridge.
that when you're out here with your brothers and sisters and parents, what we've done in the past before social distancing, Miss Kristen, is we've been like the teacher has been the troll, but then the kids can kind of knock the troll over to the side, or the troll will get out of their way depending on who is coming.
Yep.
Here, because of social distancing, and Miss Kristen and I need to stay 6 feet apart, I'm just going to get out of the way.
Yep.
So that's, you guys can be a little more physical when you're doing this with your mom and dad, okay?
But have some fun with it, you guys.
All right, let's go.
Okay. I'm little Billy Goat.
Who's that tripping, trapping on my bridge?
It's just me. I'm just a little goat and I'm trying to get to the meadow.
Let me see your goat face. Ah, little goat, huh?
Yes.
You look very tasty. I think I'm gonna come to gobble you up.
But wait. I have brothers coming after and they're much bigger and yummier and I think you should hold off. I'm just trying to go to the meadow to eat and just get fat and eat. So please, would you please let me pass?
Should we let her pass? Okay, then. Come pass.
That was scary. Goat number 2.
Who's that tripping over my bridge?
It's just me, Billy Goat Gruff, and I'm trying to get to the meadow to meet my brother.
No, you don't. I'm gonna come and eat you up.
No, but wait. My brother's coming and he's much bigger and much tastier. You should hold off and wait for him.
Oh.
I'm just trying to go to the meadow.
Okay then, come on through.
Thank you.
Who's that tripping on my bridge?
I'm the big Billy Goat Gruff and I'm going to meet my brothers.
No you're not. I'm gonna gobble you up.
No, you're not. I'm going to meet my brothers and get fat in the meadow. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that fun game. The Billy Goats made it past the troll. And so definitely when you come, try that out with your parent. Even see, Mr. Tom and I showed that you can do it even just with 2 people, right? It was still a fun game for us too. So.
And definitely, like, once you've done playing the game and if there's nobody around, let your kids run back and forth a little bit on the bridge. We always do that. We spend a lot of time at the bridge normally during our classes, so if they just feel like running around, it's just a really fun place to run.
Not right here though.
Yeah, only on the bridge.
Yep.
And only if nobody's around. All right, so I'll bet you there are some animals. Oh, there's a snake, Erin. Can you see that?
Where?
Can we get that?
Where?
Right there. Now, what is that called when they kind of blend in? I was just about to talk about that, Miss Kristen. We're not going to pick up snakes. There he goes.
Cool.
It's a garter. He was hard to see, you guys. And what's that called when animals, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Insects, animals, sometimes birds, depending on the type of bird. When they just blend into the background, do you guys remember what that's called?
I remember what that's called. That's called camouflaging. And I didn't even see that snake until Mr. Tom had pointed out that snake. And that's exactly what that's the purpose of it. They're trying to blend in so that they're not spotted by maybe other animals that would try to eat them, or by humans, or right?
Who would eat that snake, Miss Kristen?
Ooh.
We talked about them earlier. They are flying around. One of them at night, one during the day, but they'll both eat snakes.
Yep. So hawks, those are big birds, right? Hawks like to eat snakes, and at nighttime, owls like to eat snakes. But hopefully, that's why the snake is camouflaged, right? It's maybe hoping that the hawks and the owls don't find it. So what are some other ways that maybe an animal would try to hide or not let a predator eat them? What are some other ways that they might, try to protect themselves? We talked a bit about that.
Sometimes they run away, sometimes they camouflage, sometimes they make noise. And again, I know Miss Erin loves my chickadee warning call, but birds especially will make a bird call that's a warning call. Like a chickadee, we said goes chickadee dee dee dee.
So we were talking about different ways that animals protect themselves from other animals that might want to eat them. So we talked about camouflaging, we talked about, you know, running away. Mr. Tom just talked about making noises like, you know, like the little chickadee call.
What's the opposite of camouflage?
Yeah. So also, we talked about a couple weeks ago, really bright colors can show animals that, you know, something is poisonous maybe, or it's scary and it's kind of in your face and animals know not to approach.
So week 3 at our vernal pool, we caught in the big vernal pool some aquatic newts, and then I know Miss Erin put into the video that you saw week 3 their adolescents, and they're a good example of a type of salamander that is very bright, and it's basically warning other animals, don't eat me, because if you do, you're gonna get sick.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we talked about wormies, we talked about birds.
We talked about nests.
We talked about nests. Definitely on your way back, look for some nests.
Yep.
We remember the big one we'll maybe get a shot of that's coming up here.
Oh, also we, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the food chain, right? And what animals eat, which I guess is kind of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But also, you know, we can look on the ground and see if there's any signs of, you know, animals having eaten, like maybe leaves with some holes in it, or maybe tops of acorns.
Who would be eating, if we saw holes on the leaves on some of these plants, do you guys think that would be Bob from our...
Just like...
On the ground, that might be Otto, right? Otto was our worm in Bob and Otto. Bob was who? What did Bob start out as, you guys? Do you remember?
Yeah, Bob started out as a caterpillar. Remember, he went up the tree and was eating all the leaves up in the tree. So that book must have taken place probably in the summer, because right now there wouldn't be a whole lot up in the trees for Bob to eat, right?
Not yet. I think in a couple weeks we'll start to see a few Bobs out here.
Yeah.
But not yet. But exactly, that's what they'll eat. And then what about scaredy squirrel? What do our squirrels eat? Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I remember. Scaredy squirrel had a very regimented routine of what he would eat, right? He ate so many acorns, like so many times a day. Mr. Tom, refresh our memory on how many acorns a day a squirrel eats.
Oh, I don't know. They eat a lot.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of
the
robins.
How many worms the robin eats? How many is that?
28.
28 worms a day.
Yeah, so birds, let's just go right to birds. Birds eat worms and insects, also seeds and berries, but this time of year, excuse me, they like to eat, more than anything, insects and worms, right? So that's and that's what they like to feed their babies. Now, Miss Kristen also mentioned in week 2 rabbits, and Miss Kristen, I actually saw a rabbit yesterday at the park. It was late. I did take a picture of it. We'll see if Miss Erin could put it on this video for you guys to look at. Miss Kristen, do you want to remind everyone what the rabbits like to eat?
Yeah, so rabbits, oftentimes when we see them here, we see them out front, like Mr. Tom did the other day. And out front is where we have lots of grass, right? So rabbits love grazing. They like to eat grass, leaves, maybe little flower buds, things like that. And a lot of that is found right out in the front, actually. So that's typically where we see bunnies here.
Yeah, and so, and their babies, what do they like to eat? That was a little different.
Oh, that was different. So the babies actually just like to drink their mama's milk, right? So they don't go and forage and look for things. The mom does that work, right? And then the baby drinks the mommy's milk.
Yeah, just like the adult birds, the female bird will find worms and insects for their babies. So, and then what about our owls? We're going to go to an area that they like to go to, and our hawks, our vernal pool. So we're going to just do a quick check-in of our vernal pool, see how it's doing. But who likes to hang out here that an owl might eat?
Maybe frogs?
Frogs, yeah. Salamanders. Now we have a lot of stuff. Who do they like to eat that comes out at night with them? Who flies around when it gets warmer out? Does anybody know?
Who else eats frogs, are you asking?
No, who else would an owl eat that flies at night?
Oh, maybe bats?
Bats.
And what's it called when something flies at night, when it's only awake during the nighttime? Nocturnal, right?
All right, so last time we were here, we saw lots of tadpoles. Let's see if we can find them again. I see a bunch over here, Miss Kristen.
Do you? Oh yeah, I see some over here too.
Are they starting to move around a little bit?
Yeah, they're moving.
And what I see is they're hanging out here by something that's green. What is that, Miss Kristen?
Maybe they're feeding on some algae, right? We remember that the tadpoles and the frogs, they love to eat that algae, which is that slimy green stuff right over there.
Do you guys think that these tadpoles are a little bigger now than when we first saw them two or 3 weeks ago?
They could be. Doesn't look like they have any legs yet, right? Because we learned about how the tadpoles grow back legs and then front legs, and then they lose their tail, and then what do they become? Frogs.
And when they become frogs, what do the froggies like to eat? Do you guys remember? They like to eat insects, mosquitoes. Actually, they eat worms and slugs. But they eat a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah, we talked about that at the food chain, right? Because, and then, you know, the frogs eat the mosquitoes and the mosquitoes bite us. And that's when we talked about everything needs to eat to live. Just like we eat our breakfast, so do the frogs need to too.
All right, well, I think we've pretty much covered everything, Miss Kristen.
Yeah?
I hope you guys enjoyed our first 5 weeks of our classes. We've definitely had a lot of fun sharing that with you.
It has been a lot of fun.
And then next week, now that it's finally starting to warm up, I think we're going to see a lot of plants
Yeah.
and flowers starting to pop up. So that's going to be our class for next week.
Awesome.
All right, you guys, so I hope you had a good time. Hope you have a great time at the bridge when you come. And Miss Kristen and I look forward to talking to you about plants and flowers next week.
We will see you next week, guys.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.